What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Bolero. Sam here with Gab and Maui. What's up, guys?
Yes! Finally, thank you, Naveen, for the breaking news. May pag-uusapan na tayo.
Kakasunod-sunod.
Oo, marami tayong pag-uusapan ng mga player movement this offseason. The biggest one, of course, is Jacob Baila committing to UP and being eligible this coming season 87. So we're going to talk about him and all the other player movements that we've been seeing the past few days, past few weeks. So let's get started. This is going to be very exciting. So please stay tuned. So let's start with the big one first. Baila committing to UP. Alam ko, I think we've been talking about the depth of UP the past few episodes, but how does this affect UP's team coming into season 87? Obviously, Baila was one of the big siguro stars or recruits that teams were looking at. So UP getting a solid contributor or another solid rookie in Baila, how does that affect their chances in season 87? Let's start with you, Gab.
Okay. How does it affect their chances? Remains to be seen. They're still one of the contenders. They're still up there with LaSalle to contend for season 87. But in terms of affecting their chances, it remains to be seen because who knows if he's gonna play. I think Maui will share the same sentiments also later. He's 6'6". He generally, I've seen him play as a wing.
Yung iba sabi 6'5" eh, di ba?
6'5", 6'6". Tomato, same shit. So, it remains to be seen if he will actually play this upcoming season. I'm sure he will make the lineup. I mean, did he not get recruited? He was one of the hot names during this offseason, right?
Yeah,
I think since the end of season 86, a ton of UAP fans, especially from the Maroon side, have been going on about Jacob Baila. Will he go to the UAP? Will he play in the Philippines? And there have been a lot of rumors that UP had already locked him up, but now we have confirmation. However, given the depth of UP and the number of talented players, again, we've talked about this before, they can field two lineups in Pinoy Liga and still dominate the competition with two separate lineups. That's how deep they are. So I don't know if he's actually gonna. Yeah, exactly, Maui. They're undefeated despite playing two lineups each and every game. So they're 15 deep. I don't know if Jacob Baila is actually gonna get minutes. Who you're taking minutes from, diba? He's 6'6". I hope they don't play him as a power forward. Yun lang sa akin, diba? He's shown potential as a wing in his younger days. What I've seen, from what I've seen in his stint in high school in the US, he plays mostly as a wing. So it will be very disappointing to me if Coach Gold plays him as a power forward because sayang eh. How often do you get a 6'6" wing? Not that much, diba? Kaso UP still has a loaded lineup. I'm thinking this Jacob Baila thing for UP is more of a season 88 or season 89 thing. I don't see him cracking rotation minutes in season 87 because they're still loaded. They still have a ton of guards they have to give minutes to. They're looking to push LeBron Lopez to the wing. They're looking to play more to Torculas and the Belmonte at power forward. So I don't see it yet. Maybe once he plays, we'll get more of idea who he plays over, who gets pushed down the totem pole in that minutes crunch for UP. But yeah, this is more of a future thing for UP. I like his potential. He's 6'6" wing, pare. Saan ka makakita na 6'6" na wing?
Si Lopez.
Rarely.
Rarely, but two in
Lopez.
One team.
Yeah, 2 in 1 team. So is he gonna play over Lopez? I doubt it. Lopez has.
Yeah, but I think that's a good point, Gab, diba? I agree with what you said na he's really siguro an investment for the future. Kasi perfect example, Maui, you said si Lopez is sort of yung best descript, parang ceiling in the UAAP for Baila, like a 6'6" guy that can play the wing. And as Gab mentioned, I agree with you. I don't think he's going to get more minutes over Lopez, but it would be nice to play under Lopez's wings, and then maybe we always talk about this, diba? Si Lopez, we're not sure how long Lopez will be staying in the UAAP because he's a bit older. He definitely wants to go pro. So Jacob Baila is here waiting in the wings for his opportunity, especially when Lopez leaves UP. So I think really, really great point, Gab, on like Baila being an investment for the future. Maui, sorry, Gab, sorry. Are you done?
I do hope na yun yung expectation setting sa kanya. Diba? Na, hey, you will have to compete for minutes in season 87. Most likely you're getting none. You most likely are gonna play in blowouts. I mean, Luis Pablo felt that last season. But you're gonna play season 88 onwards. I hope yun yung expectation nila kay Jacob Baila. Because it's gonna be hard if they said na, you're gonna play agad. But they have a ton of people that need minutes on their roster. So yeah, I hope they set the expectations na it's gonna be a season 88 and 89 thing. I mean, LeBron Lopez, Francis Lopez is gonna be our priority along with Terculas and Belmonte at that similar size position that you play. They're gonna be the our main focus. Although I could see him taking a bit of minutes from Belmonte, to be honest. If there's one guy from that trio of power forward wings that they balance, si Belmonte yung pinaka teetering on the edge of being buried on that bench. If there's one person that Jacob Baila should be targeting, si Belmonte ang kukunan ko ng minutes because he's the guy who's a bit floppy right now. I mean, he's not been very impressive so far in yung Pinoy Liga stint. So if I were Mark Belmonte, I would be aching to have better games in the current preseason because now that they recruited Jacob Baila, he's coming for his minutes. So if there's one player of those three, si Mark Belmonte ang kailangan mag-ingat. Maui or Sam?
Do you agree, Maui?
Ako, medyo complete opposite ako eh. Siguro expectations-wise kay Baila, maybe there could be a disconnect between UP and Baila. I agree with Gab that they have to temper yung expectations. They have to set yung mind ni Baila on what to expect for next season. Because it's hard. Baila reportedly got a chance to play for the KBL, diba? He was able to work out for a couple of teams, potentially on I think 1+1 deal based on what Naveen reported. He was supposed to be a Division 2 player, but he decided to play for UP. Division 1 was not in the bag. Division 1 he had to walk in because he also had a high GPA. I think he was able to get into a couple of schools like UCLA, UC Davis, Santa Clara. But ako tingin ko talaga yung minutes na ang main competitor niya sa minutes will be Chico Briones. If I'm Chico Briones, I would be probably very nervous right now. Losing CZ Cancino last year opened a lot of minutes for that guard wing slot. So yung small forward shooting guard na tall guard to match up with probably other teams who have tall guard wings also. But now that Jacob Baila is going to UP, the question is, will Briones get any minutes at all? Diba? This coming season. I think that's if I'm him, I would be nervous. This off-season, they've been playing him. We've been talking about yung two lineups ng UP. I think some of those days, Briones plays both games. So maybe they were trying to find out if Briones could potentially start at that small forward slot. But now that Jacob Baila has arrived, may kalaban na naman siya, diba, sa minutes. So that will be an ongoing theme. I think that's the ongoing theme when you talk about UP. Which player will fit Coach Gold's system? Which player will be able to peak at the right time? Players like Fortea did not get minutes last year, but players like Abadiano were able to carve out a role. We're talking about also Raylan Torres. Diba? Si Raylan Torres is also a guy that can play all three spots from 1 to 3. So if he was happy that he could potentially play a ton of minutes at the small forward slot, now he probably has to compete for that 1 and 2 slot, which as we've discussed, the whole off season is very deep. And I think even yung coaches ng UAP, including si Coach Tab, has mentioned that yung backcourt rotation ng UP has been the deepest he's seen probably in his whole UAP stint. So maybe Gab is right. UP has to temper expectations, has to talk to Baila. I don't know what's gonna happen. We'll probably see more during the Phil Oil. I don't think si Baila will play na sa Pinoy Liga, or maybe I'm wrong. Baka mahabol pa. But this coming May 11, Phil Oil, that's when we usually see, di ba, who will crack the rotation, who will be able to make that 16-man lineup. Tama nga naman sabi ng subscribers natin, 15 players pa lang ang expected for UP. So now Baila completes that 16th slot given the injuries to some players like Coronel and Gagate. So I don't know, we'll see. But I'm not that super high on Baila just because that he isn't a Division 1 player. We've seen Division 1 players make it to the UAAP but not excel. So we'll have to see how he is able to adjust.
Shout out to Troy Reich na naman to eh.
Hindi na naman si Troy Reich. I mean, we've seen a lot of players. Now we have players who are also transferring from Division 1 to the UAAP, di ba? Yung Ron Zone Twins. So we'll see how these three people will be able to adjust to the Philippine type of basketball. But I think si Baila expects to play one and done. Just because I think he almost had an opportunity to get to the KBL. Maybe the offers were not yet there. Maybe he expected more. Maybe UP paid more. I don't know. But it's crazy kasi diba, if you talk about the KBL, maybe a potential benchmark is si SJ Belangel, yung salary ni SJ Belangel. I think the salary of SJ Belangel last year was $500,000 a month. So that's 6 million a year. So if Jacob Baila did have an opportunity to play for the KBL, it's a bit, you really have to look at what's there. Diba? Maybe UP had a better offer for Jacob Baila. But given the fact that also, diba, si Gab is very adamant that maybe Baila will not get enough minutes. Imagine him accepting an offer to a team and not even getting minutes secured. So we'll see. But as you guys mentioned, there are not a lot of 6'6" guard wing prospects in the UAAP. Yung advantages mo on athleticism, on height and length is just enough to be able to perform at a high level. Even with a player like and again, the best comparison is LeBron Lopez, as we mentioned. So that's gonna be crazy. UP is gonna have a ton of 6'6" guys and up who are gonna play on the wing. Diba? Sam.
Crazy.
Just to add a few points lang to Maui's thing, no. If Jacob Baila expects to play one and done, I don't think it's gonna be a one and done thing. I think it's gonna be a 2 or a 3 guy because I just don't see him playing a ton in this UP lineup. Knowing how Coach Gold ran the rotation last season, I just don't think he's gonna get that 1 year where he really shows his wares. I just don't think it's gonna happen in season 87. The other point I wanted to bounce off, since he's a guard wing, I think this kind of buries our dream, Maui, of seeing LeBron Lopez play at the wing. I don't know. Yung parang na-bury na yung dream natin eh. That has always been our dream, diba guys? Ito yung palagi sinasabi natin. LeBron Lopez should not play power forward. He should play at the wing. Show off his perimeter skills, which he has not developed yet as of now. Pero recruiting another guy for the wing spots, I don't know. It's kind of buried that already. I don't know how Coach Gold plans to mess around those guys who need minutes on, especially in the backcourt, no, in those wing possessions. I assure you that Jacob Baila is not going to play as a guard for UP. They have too many guards. They have too many very good guards there, so Jacob Baila is not going to play as a guard. But as a wing, probably can eke out some minutes. But yan nga, medyo sad ako na si Francis is gonna be pushed up again to play power forward. Most likely again, season 87. Sammy, we're gonna say something.
Kahit si Terculas, di ba? That's also our dream for Terculas and even to Atiki Belmonte.
Exactly.
Kasi they're playing as wings so far they play as wings so far sa Pinoy Liga, di ba? Like,
papalit-palit sila.
Wing minutes, yeah. So, yun yung exciting part. But we'll see how that changes with the coming of Jacob Baila. And it's only May, guys. It's only May 5. So, di natin alam. There might be other guys coming into the team. So, we really don't know how this team will look like by the time season 87 comes in. Just before I share my thoughts, siguro shout out lang kay Jacob Baila, no? Kasi when he was interviewed, I like that he said na important din sa kanya yung studies niya and how UP is one of the top universities in the Philippines, no? So
4.0 GPA.
And mataas.
He qualified for D1 schools.
Div1 schools, di ba?
So, diba?
I like this guy already. Like I like Jacob Baila already because seems like a very smart guy. Anyway, I like your picks. I want to join in dun sa picks nyo kanina na guys that could lose minutes or could compete for minutes against Jacob Baila. So Gab, you picked Belmonte. Maui, you picked si Chico Briones. I'm gonna pick another guy, a guy that we talked about, Gab, that we're rooting for. I'm gonna pick Denzel Walker. Kasi Denzel Walker
he's
is
a
also
guard
like
though, Sam.
Wait,
he's a guard. He's a point guard.
He's a 6'4" guy, so he can play the wing, diba? And he's very defensive. So I think si Baila, if you look at his highlights, he's like this guard wing player sa US who's very defensive. And I think why Chico Briones still has a chance, Maui, is because Briones is a better shooter than Baila. So far, sa ngayon. So if Briones can really show Coach Gold na I'm the best shooter in this team, he can get some of those CJ Cancino minutes. Because we all know si CJ Cancino was one of their best shooters sa team last year. I think si Baila is hindi pa siya known as a three-point shooter, but more of like a defensive guy, slasher. So that's why I'm thinking like Denzel Walker could also like lose some minutes to him if Walker plays as a 6'4" wing. Kasi he can play as a wing, diba? And you mentioned very deep na rotation ng guards ng UP. So I was actually imagining Walker as playing more as a big 2 or really more of a wing. Any other things that you want to add to Jacob Baila news before we move on to the other news?
Just a counterpoint, to the Chico Briones thing. I don't think offense is the problem for Chico Briones. It's the other end.
It's the defense. Yeah.
It's the defense, I think, which is the issue. There are multiple times, especially in the finals. I mean, he was inserted, I think, for a brief stint in the finals. Got 8 straight points, got it alive defensively. So, UP, as we've known for the past couple of seasons under Coach Gold, hangs their hat on the defensive end. That is their main strength. They're a great defensive team. And you can't play defense, I don't think you're cracking Coach Gold's minutes. So, I'm not worried about Chico Briones' offense. It's the defense talaga that's gonna have to improve on his part. But yeah, I agree with Maui. He's also in danger of not playing again.
By the way, just one last thing about this Jacob Baila news. He played for Phil-Am Nation, diba? So that was teammates of Andy Hemau. So probably, it's also, Gab, you talked about investing for the future. This could be like a Baila Hemau partnership in the future if he still stays with UP and if Andy Hemau ends up going to UP.
Phil-Am connection.
May Phil-Am connection. So moving on.
Actually,
yeah,
Sam, just to add lang. Actually, just to bounce off dun sa Phil-Am connection mo, I think it was mentioned sa article ni Naveen that one of the reasons that Baila decided to commit to UP is because of his friend, Zave Lucero. So we have to shout out lang all si Zave Lucero. I think that's where the connection really is. Phil-Am Nation and being able to ask questions from other players who have suited up to the same team. I think that's where UP has gotten the advantage, not just because of other factors, but maybe just because of the connections they've built throughout the years and through their players. Sam?
That's a good point. Kasi I remember Jared Bahay also mentioned that. Like one of the reasons why he initially picked UP, diba? Because of what I think it was Jan Hoboneta or something like that. Who he talked to when he was considering UP. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about the UE Red Warriors. I know we didn't talk much about their recruits last episode. So it's time for us to talk about some of their big recruits. Kasi we played during Pinoy Liga last week. And after losing a lot of players that were part of their rotation last season, nakabawi naman sila ng onte, di ba? So I think the biggest one definitely has to be Moore Alaw, the point guard from LaSalle, who hasn't really made the team or gotten any minutes from LaSalle the past 2 seasons. Finally leaving LaSalle and ended up joining UE. Hopefully he can finally play for UE, although ano pa yan, season 88 pa yan, diba? So not this coming season. And UE also getting a bunch of recruits from Mapua High School. So these guys are going to play for season 87. I think Gab, nag-shoutout ka kay Nico Muling Tapang last episode, and I know some of our listeners really liked Muling Tapang. So he's going to play for UE. Aki Valina, Ronji Go, and I think si Kobe Dalisay will be eligible for season 88. So among these recruits, I guess my question is, so far from what you've seen, who are you most excited for, and why? I think I know what your answer is going to be. Let's start with you, Maui.
Ako definitely si Moore Alaw. I watched him a lot during the previous off-season, especially sa Pinoy Liga with LaSalle. I really thought that he was gonna make it to season 86 lineup. I'm quite surprised that LaSalle, given their lack of guards this coming season, decided not to potentially line up Moore Alaw. Si Gab would be the one that's most surprised kasi when he went to the Pinoy Liga press conference, Moore Alaw was the one who represented LaSalle. So it's a bit weird for me.
Yeah, I agree, Maui. Diba? I agree. Hindi ba weird yun? I agree with your point na parang
it's a bit
open yung point guard spot and he still didn't get any minutes or a chance to play there.
Yeah, definitely si Moore Alaw is a person to probably watch list for season 88. He really performed well sa Pinoy Liga last year. I was waiting for him to get to LaSalle kasi I knew that si Evan Nelly and si Mark Nonoy were graduating ng season 86. So maybe LaSalle just wanted to not waste yung year of eligibility ni Moore Alaw. So it's a bit surprising to me that he ends up in UE. But as we know, yung coaching staff ng UE has a connection with LaSalle rin kasi most of the players there, their coach used to be a coach of LaSalle. So maybe he had a connection somehow. But I'm excited for Moore Alaw. If there's a player who usually excels in Coach Jack's system, we all know it's the point guard slot. Diba? We've seen that through the Paranadas. We've seen that through Rimogat. So definitely Moore Alaw will be given the opportunity to shine come season 88. And he's a San Beda guard. Diba? A San Beda guard is always almost a sure thing in the UAAP. We've seen it through history. So maybe this is the type of opportunity that he needs to get. And I'm happy for UE. Kasi usually we see the news and all we see is players leaving. Now we're seeing players from Mapua High School. Now we're seeing Moore Alaw and a couple more players committing to UE. I think that's a step in the right direction. I don't think that they will make it to the Final Four this season 87. But if there's a team to surprise us again, it's gonna be definitely be UE. But I'm more excited for season 88 just because I'm excited to see Moore Alaw finally shoot up in the UAAP. Gab.
I think this was a splendid move by Moore Alaw because he was eligible to play season 85 pa lang. I don't know if most people knew that, but season 85 pa lang, he was already eligible to play. He has not cracked the LaSalle lineup for 2 seasons. So I think this is a good roll of the dice for his career. I mean, I think he was an 18-year-old when he left San Beda to go to LaSalle. So he's now, maybe by the time he plays in the UAP, he'll now be around 21 or 22. So I think this is a good roll of the dice. Again, UE is a land of opportunity. Just because there's so many players leaving, there's a lot of minutes to be had. Again, man, UE strategy is simple. They get players, mostly unwanted or diamonds in the rough players that are really not getting minutes from other schools, so they get them. This was the case with Remogat. It was a walk-in, was not accepted in FEU, so he came to UE. I like Muralaw's game. I watched his games in Pinoy Liga and the PBA D-League last season, last preseason. I same as Maui, same as you guys. I really thought na he would make Team A for LaSalle last season. It was a weird decision for the LaSalle coaching staff not to at least bring him into the lineup, diba? But yeah, I think that's all that needs to be said. No, if he wasn't able to crack season 86 lineup with the need at point guard, I don't think he's gonna get any meaningful minutes in LaSalle. Again, LaSalle has a ton of players. They're back to the old LaSalle ways. They have a ton of players, and they're basically not giving the right amount of minutes to their other recruits. Diba? So a right move for Muralao. It remains to be seen whether Muralao can actually become that guy for UE. I hope he does. For the other Mapua Red Robins, I think that's how their juniors team is named after. I haven't been following juniors basketball in the NCAA for the longest time, so forgive me. But I did watch them in their first game against UP. It was a bit tough. Again, I did shout out to Muling Tapang. I do think he has some playmaking chops. This is a wait and see for me for the UE Red Warriors. Let's see if any of these guys can be meaningful rotation players or even stars. I'm more bullish on Muling Tapang. I liked what I saw, and I think Coach Jack was willing to give him a lot of minutes and a lot of ball handling responsibility. So there's a wait and see. For those of our subscribers and viewers who have not been following the Pinoy Liga, I suggest you do, especially if you're a UE fan. This is something to look forward to. Who is the next guy? Who are the next rotation players that are gonna step up for UE? Again, we shouted out to Precious Mamaway. You still have him. Who are the other guys you're gonna surround him with? That's gonna be very interesting to watch in UE's upcoming game. Again, UE has only played one game. They have a ton of games remaining. So watch Pinoy Liga, guys. Watch Pinoy Liga. Sam.
Yeah, the obvious answer here is Muralao. Really, really great point, Gab. We've been waiting for this guy for the past 2 years already. We've been waiting to watch this guy for the past 2 seasons already. And we're going to miss him again for a third straight season. So I think you guys have said everything, but really for us, we're just excited for him, and we're really hoping that he gets to play for UE come season 88 and he gets to show off his skills. Kasi we really want to see this guy excel and be successful. And as you all mentioned,
Batang Gilas din siya.
Batang Gilas din siya. I think you guys said na he did well sa Batang Gilas. Hindi ko siya napanood sa Batang Gilas. But as Maui mentioned, UE is a really great program for him to excel as a point guard and to show off his wares. So really hoping na everything goes smoothly. He gets to play for UE in season 88. Yung bad news lang doon for the UE fans out there, you have to wait another year. So you have to wait for season 88 before you get to watch Muralao, hopefully your starting point guard or your star point guard, play for your team. Moving on, we did get recruitment news today also for Ateneo. So Santi Soler, the son of Juno Soler, former coach of De La Salle Green Archers and now the assistant of the UST Growling Tigers, has decided to join Ateneo. Surprising because, Coach Juno is in UST and UST is also in the building, so you would have expected UST to also try to get Santi Soler. So, initial reactions on Santi Soler, to be honest, I don't know much about him other than he's the son of Juno Soler. Let's start with you, Gab.
Another Batangilas player, former Batangilas player. So, tatlong Batangilas player yung pinag-usapan natin today. But yeah, Santi Soler, again, like the Mapua Red Robins who went to UE, this is a wait and see. And much like si Jacob Baila, I think this is more of a season 88, season 89 recruitment for Ateneo. Unless he's some under the radar wildly good player that we don't know about. Diba? But yeah, I don't see him cracking the roster for Ateneo this season. There are a lot of young players in Ateneo. We'll talk about Ateneo in our next episode, and just wait for that. But Ateneo has a ton of young players. I don't think he's gonna play over any of those guys. Already part of the rotation right now. The most notable thing for me in the article was that he wants to study management economics and applied mathematics in
Mahirap
Ateneo.
yun. Mahirap.
That's really hard. So that's a shocker to me. That's way notable for me. I like this guy already.
Santi Soler, Jacob Baila, shout out. Shout out to these.
Yeah, man. Very smart
Student
kids.
athletes.
Student athletes want to challenge themselves. All right. Go for it, guys. I'm rooting for you guys now. But yeah, I'm not familiar with this game. There are a ton of comments and videos that say he's a pretty good shooter. The rest of his game still has a lot of work to be done for the rest of his game. But there's a much possible a season 88 yung 89 signing tuloy recruitment para tayong pro league but sanay na. But yeah, I'm happy that he went to Ateneo. It remains to be seen what he can actually contribute to the Blue Eagles program. I'm interested what Coach Juno had to say, but what he really had to say behind the scenes. I know he said positive things when he was interviewed, but what conversation they had behind the scenes. He coached at La Salle, he coaches at UST, but his son, I'm going to Ateneo. I wonder what the family dynamics is there. Maui, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with Gab. It's a wait and see for Santi Soler. We're not that familiar how he will fare here. He played, I think, grade 11 and grade 12 in the US. But with the way that the Ateneo lineup is constructed right now, I don't think that he will make it sa season 87 lineup. If you look at the Ateneo lineup, it's a bunch of wings. What they need is a big, which we'll discuss later in our next episode. So yeah, this is probably a wait and see. We've seen players who excel in Team B and become stars in Team A. So maybe a year off could be positive for Santi Soler, especially if he decides to study applied math in Ateneo. That's a quota course, top 10%, 15% course in Ateneo. That's gonna be hard. So maybe that year off can help him adjust back to his life here in the Philippines. But yeah, anytime you get anyone, anytime when you get players that are connected to former coaches or players, then generally it's a positive sign for any program. So it's just a wait and see. We'll see. Tam.
Yeah, I just feel bad for Coach Juno kasi yung anak niya pinili yung kalaban na school, no? But other than that, I agree. Let's just manage our expectations. We were so happy for Coach Juno when he joined UST, diba, as an assistant coach. So, sayang. But we've seen this before. Obviously back on Austria came from Ateneo High School, the juniors program, played for Ateneo Seniors, went up against his dad against when Coach Leo Ostrea was at Adamson. So nothing new naman, nothing new. So we'll see. That's it for today's episode. Hopefully there will be more player movements, so we'll definitely discuss all of those player movements leading up to season 87 and the final rosters of the teams once they come out for season 87. And stay tuned for our next episode. We're going to talk about that big, is it a big Ateneo Lasal game? I think it was a big
more of a big blowout.
Big blowout, but stay tuned for that. We'll see you again next time. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Bye-bye.